Go, go. Go, go.
Good evening and welcome to the FB Bar. I'm your host, Mr. Jack Jordan Maynor, and joining me today is Mr. Jack Pickering and Frederic Bertrand. And 2 seconds, because I've got a massive echo in my ear, and I need to sort out my echo. There we go, the echo is sorted. But we've got an amazing show for you tonight, because obviously you get the chance to answer any question possible to Frederic Bertrand, and he is happy to answer all of them. Boys, Frederic, firstly, thank you so much for coming on and speaking to us this evening. It's a massive privilege.
No, thanks. Good evening. I see that you had a good day because you feel that you have a lot of energy. So I hope it will be a good session. Feel free to call me Fred all the long. There is no problem with that. And I hope that we will have nice questions.
Yeah, Mr. Pickering, how are you?
I'm good. Just so Fred knows, Jack likes doing the big intros. So yeah, he always does that.
If you can't get up for a live show, then what are you doing?
Yeah. Someone's already pointed out my haircut in chat, so cheers, Saz, for that. If you can notice something else about me throughout the show, well done. It is a little bit obvious if you look close. No, but I'm just going to leave it at that. No, I'm happy to be back. I've been away. I was ill after Shanghai, and then I wasn't. I've seen bits of the calendar announcement from last week, but yeah, no, glad to be back in the hot seat, and what a fantastic guest as well with Fred.
Yeah, so before we get started, just so you guys are aware who are listening, if you put !Zoom, you will get the Zoom link. So then you can click on that Zoom link, you'll be transferred to the waiting room, and then from there on, we will drag you across and you will ask your questions. So Fred, you can also put !Discord in chat, and fingers crossed, you can get to our Discord, and if you need any more information about the show, then you can see it there. But Frederic, first and foremost, as I said, welcomes. I suppose there was a big race on the weekend, and your two drivers were involved in it. I don't know how much you managed to catch of Le Mans, but obviously De Vries finished in second, Mortara in the middle of the pack in the hyperclass. Like, did you watch much of Le Mans? How did you make of your two drivers?
I nearly catch every minute, to be honest, because I think it's a massive and impressive event. And I have to say that the guys did really well, and they were both, I think, happy. For sure, Nick probably a bit disappointed because when you are so close from P1 in Le Mans, which is really the one which is counting, it's also disappointing. But at the end, it's still a very good result and a great job done on their side. And I think for Edo, scoring points, making sure that the car crosses the line for the first time for a Lamborghini there. I think for both, it's a great job. I hope they bring a lot of that very positive energy to the team now, and that they do as well with us as they do since the beginning of the season. But great show, and very happy for them to see that they had a good experience there.
And then obviously the Euros have been starting. I don't know if you've managed to catch any of the Euros. Did you manage to watch France's game last night? Been supporting France, I suppose.
Of course, for sure, and they did okay. It's not an easy start because it was a tough game, but definitely a good way to start. You start slow and then you grow along the competition. It's also good.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes for the rest of the competition.
Yeah, similar with England, it was as well on Friday night. Very slow start for England. I suppose we can sort of move on to sort of your season so far as Mahindra, because you could argue, I know we spoke in pre-season testing and you said last season was like season 0 and this season 1, but like after a slow start, which was kind of expected, you've made some really good steps forward throughout the season so far. So just looking as a season as a whole, how would you assess it?
I think I was always used to say that with Formula E always expect unexpected, and I have to say that our season is exactly in this type of season because we couldn't expect a more difficult start with testing, which was difficult for us after Valencia, and then it was difficult to recover, reorganize the team. And it was, let's say, an additional challenge because we had already enough, to be honest. But okay, it's part of the game. We managed to recover as good as we could. I think the summary right up to now is I'm happy with the choices. We had a lot of changes into the team for the last couple of months. For sure, having Nick and Edu joining us was a huge step, and this is already one of the first choice I'm really happy with because those two guys are bringing a lot to the team. They are helping us on keeping the head up and then pushing further. Same on getting Jeremy into the team. Same on the few people who joined all along the season. I think this is the way I wanted the team to grow up, and it definitely starts to pay a little bit too slow because it took so long time for us to score points and to come out of that situation with 0 point and being last. We are still last, but definitely not with 0 point anymore. But the very positive side is what we wanted was to show that we can be fast in quali. And we have managed to be 5 times in the duels already, score a quite important points in having a pole position. And I would say it was a good way to start to score points, getting the pole position in Berlin. That was just amazing. And then what is also interesting is that people were wondering if Nick will start to come into the game also. And he showed in Shanghai that he's fully committed and fully able to deliver with a very good race on the first day and a very good quali on the second. So altogether, things start to come into place. It takes time. And we know that in Formula E is so tight that a little mistake or a little bit of lack of something is putting you at the back of the grid and not in the best position to score points. But definitely things come into place and we like the way it goes. And we like the spirit which is in the team right now. And we look forward to go back to racing, to be honest. Now we love the idea of going racing again to Portland and London. I would say I would maybe like that we have a few more races until the end of the season to have more opportunities to score some additional points and come back in a better position in the championship. But on the other side, we are so impatient to start season 11 that we are also happy to close season 10 chapter and move to season 11. So it's where we are right now. Excited to go racing again, excited to fight for the end of the championship and get some good points. But on the other side, very impatient to start season 11.
I wanted to follow up on the point that you said about Nick de Vries and the fact that he's now starting to come into it. Because obviously he's been away. He went off, did Formula One for a year. So him coming back, obviously he is an ex-champion. But it was his first sort of foray into the Gen 3 car. So where was the expectation level for Nick at the start of the year? And how have you seen him sort of progress throughout the year? Now he's sort of got to the point where he has now learned Gen 3.
Yeah, I think he learned Gen 3 quite quickly. To be honest, we didn't give him the best tool to learn it in the soft way or in a smooth way. So he has a lot of excuses because the car we gave him is definitely not the one he should get. And what has been really good is that both of them have managed to help us on putting the car in a much better condition, in a much better way of using it. So that helped also. But what was maybe a challenge for Nick was to come in a team where we are building. And maybe when he was at Mercedes, he was in a team where the things were probably more organized, better processes, better way of managing every detail. And we are still learning on that side. So he had also to get used to that type of working where we are not yet ready and we are building. So that was a little bit all at the same time, discovering the car, discovering some tracks in the championship, discovering the new way the championship is running, because we see some very specific racing within the championship, learning the new format with the quali format, which is new also. So there were plenty of new things to learn for him. But definitely with the level he has, with the mindset he has, plus the smart brain he has, this was very quick. Then it's just a matter of a bit of luck, a bit of putting everything together, and this is what he managed perfectly in Shanghai, and I know that now he's 100% ready for the next one. So I would say he quickly got it. He needed just to put it together, which he managed. And for us, it was exactly what we were expecting from him. But what he brings to the team on a daily basis is huge. And that's what is really benefiting Mahindra Racing in general, is that the two guys, they show the maximum they can on track, but they do so much in the factory, they do so much with each of us, that this is the hidden part of the job they are doing, but it is a huge part of the job they are doing.
Perfect. I think it's time to go and get our first fan in. So, Jack, could you get Vias in for me? So he's got a question for Frederic. It might take a couple of seconds to get him in, and then hopefully we'll hear him.
Should be coming in shortly.
But yeah, this is, as I said, this is your chance. So again, if you put !Zoom, !Discord, it will give you links to come and ask your question. Just let me know. Is VS in? Hello, VS. Yes. Welcome to the FE bar. Hope you're well. And what's your question for Fred?
Right. So, first off, hello, Fred. Hope you can hear me.
I can hear you. No problem. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Just starting off, I'd like to say that I'm a huge Mahindra fan. I mean, I've been rooting for the team ever since I started following the series. And I always hope for them to win the Formula E championship in the future. So my question to you is actually, it's something that pertains to a race that just ended very recently, because Formula E has as many as 8 drivers who participate in the World Endurance Championship, as well as take part in the Formula E season. So like, as a team principal right now, you have 2 drivers who have dual programs like this, Nick and Edo. So what are the challenges that arise when you're coming to an agreement to sign a contract with such drivers?
Oh, that's a good question. First of all, thanks for being a big fan of Mahindra, and it's true that we have a number of fans, which is quite surprising, and it's huge enthusiasm behind. So that's first of all a big thank you. The second is on signing drivers. I think there are different type of positions. In the position of Mahindra, where we were last year, not being successful as much as we would like, at least, not proposing something crazy in short term as a package, but with a strong ambition and a big ambition for the future. It's not easy on the market, because you have drivers who want to shine very quickly, and they need a team where they can perform very quickly, so that they are sure that they are raising their image. And you have drivers where you can try to find some specific capabilities and capacities of helping in developing the team. And definitely for me, that was the target. How could I find drivers able to help me on developing the team and bringing the team to a higher level? Then at that moment, you realize that you end up on drivers with a lot of experience. And those drivers are sometimes expensive, sometimes already booked on other championship, as you mentioned, and you have to find a way of living with that. It's not ideal. If I could, I would wish and dream of having drivers fully dedicated to us. But on the other side, the fact that they are racing in other series, and particularly in a very competitive series like the World Endurance Championship, is interesting, because they get learnings, they get additional driving time, they get additional experience, and they get also overviews on something in a very different format. So there are pros and cons. For sure, having people dedicated, you can really work 100% with them, and you know that there is no risk that they are participating to something which is potentially clashing. We had the case with Nick, which is a painful one, and it depends. But I would say you sometimes you have to mitigate a little bit the frustration and the risk. And in that case, for me, it was a good opportunity to have those 2 drivers doing 2 programs, because I could get them in a context where maybe some other teams would not take the risk, and for me, I could take it. And I have to confess that up to now, every time they come back from another race, they come with a lot of energy, and they come with a lot of additional motivation. because they feel that if they do good on the other one, they want to do good as well with us, and they push. If they didn't do good on the other one, they want to do good with us because they want to do good at least in their month or in their racing. So I only see positives right now. Maybe one day I will tell you negatives. Maybe the only bemol or the only negative was Berlin for us and not having Nick there, because with the speed we had in Berlin, we could have expected to do something big with the two drivers, but that's also part of the game. And let's say for the moment, I would say if I had to rate it, 80% happy, 20% frustrated sometimes.
I just want to follow up on that actually, because doing 2 championships, Nick missed Berlin, as did a few other drivers, and you would have thought that happened because I know that there were quite a few drivers who were very unhappy about that. You would have thought that they would have changed that for season 11. Yet we're at this path again where there's going to be a WEC race next year that's going to clash with again the Berlin E-Prix in July.
Yeah, this is not a good news. Let's be honest, not a good news, because we would prefer to avoid that clash. But if I take my previous hat or the job I was doing in the past, it's difficult to do a calendar. It's very difficult because every championship tries to find a slot. You have availability of track, you have TV slots, you have so many different constraints which are coming into the picture. So to be totally free is not that easy. But we can be sad that there is still a clash, because for motorsport in general, having those big championships racing on the same day is never good, or is not super good, particularly when there are driver clashes. But it's only one. Let's say it's only one, not more than that. So it's already let's see it positively and not negatively. It's a shame that we still have one, but it's only one.
Yeah, VS. Correct me if I'm wrong. I take it you're from India. Are you calling in from India?
Yeah, yes.
Whereabouts in India? Just so we can get.
I'm calling in from Bangalore in India.
Okay, nice. Obviously, I don't know how far that is geographically from Hyderabad, but as an Indian, and obviously Mahindra being an Indian team, like how maybe a question for Fred, I suppose for you, is like maybe how disappointing was Hyderabad, or are you disappointed that Hyderabad's like not on the calendar?
You took the question straight from my mouth.
Yeah, perfect. I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask because
yeah. So you want me to answer, because for sure I'm sad, and for sure we are looking to have a race back in India. I think it's important at 3 levels. For sure, a very personal one, racing in front of Indian fans when you are leading an Indian team. It's 100% obvious that you want to go there and you want to perform well there. That's for sure. I think the second is definitely for motorsport in general. It's good because India is potentially a place where we can have some free space and there is room for us to expand and create a motorsport culture around Formula E, which is huge. And that's the third part for me. For Formula E, India is a great potential. Because Mahindra is there, because we have now Indian drivers in the championship. I have even one in the team here with Kush Maini. We had Jehan last year with us. I think it's a huge potential for the championship, for motorsport, and for us as a team to go racing in India. So I hope that it is missing to season 11, but it will be back for season 12. Wherever the place is, to be honest, wherever in India, because there is Hyderabad, but if we were able to go to Mumbai, to Bangalore, to Delhi, wherever, I think every place would be good as long as we can go back to India. There would be even maybe room for 2 events in India because it's so big and there is so many people there to convince about motorsport that's potentially a place where we have room for more than 1 event. But at least go back to 1 event in season 12 is definitely a great wish.
I'm just hoping that happens, I was actually really looking forward to Hyderabad this year. I was actually planning to come for the race and everything, sort of mentally preparing myself.
Perfect. Yeah, it was.
Hope I can make it.
Yeah, indeed. It was a shame. VS, thank you so much. First time caller as well. You did an amazing job. Thank you so much. Do call back again on the FE bar. Thank you so much for coming on.
Definitely.
Thank you
much for inviting me, and thank you, Fred, once again.
No, pleasure. Thanks for asking good questions.
Lovely, jubbly. So
thanks for lovely answers as well. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Perfect. Thank you for so much. Pico, we've got Nikki next who would like to ask a question to Fred. So if we can bring Fred
Right.
in.
While that's happening, I've just seen what one of our Indian reporters who went to Hyderabad for us last year, Darshan's put in the chat. It's been difficult couple of seasons for Mahindra. Can you show some light on the challenges to keep the board to continue doing Formula E, and with the Gen 4 coming in as well?
It's a daily challenge, to be honest, because we need to make sure that we show good results and we show good progresses. But as you mentioned before, it's coming. So we are on the way. We have a plan which is really based on different steps, and we are moving forward.
Are we expecting a Gen 4 announcement soon from Mahindra? Do you think that's coming? I know you can't tell me like a date or when, but are we expecting good news on that front?
I'm working hard on it, and we are all working hard on giving good news soon.
Okay, perfect. That's what we want to hear. But
Nikki's here.
Nikki's in the FE bar. Nikki, thanks
Hello,
so much
everybody.
Hello. What's your question for Fred?
Basically, I'd like to know what sort of personality you have to have for being a team principal.
Oh,
management style.
That's a question which is kind of. I don't know, to be honest. Even me, I was not so sure of that type of direction for my career, and then it's more opportunities. I would say in general, love to manage people, because at the end it's a lot of my time today is make sure that people are working in the same direction, are able to challenge each other, but this in a very positive and constructive way. So you need to manage that type of team spirit where people want to push the boundaries and push further, but not with conflict, but more with constructive approach and solutions and good ideas. The second is probably, and I would not like to make a generality. I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but in my case is never be satisfied or happy. Let's say you can be happy, but satisfied is difficult. Because you always think that you can do more and you can get more. And definitely in the position we are, definitely it's something which is big, is that you have some small moment where you can be happy, but you always have to think the minute after on how you push further and how you make that moment coming more often. So it's pushing. And the third aspect is probably more on how to make sure that you convince people of following the project, the team. So it's be able to give some visibility on where we want to go. The particularity of that job is that you can do everything well on one season, and the season after everything can go wrong, and you are nowhere anymore. So the 0 to 0 is quite fast. The 0 to hero is quite long, to be honest, but the 0 to 0 can be quite fast. So you need to keep your foot on the ground and be sure that you know where you come from. Don't get too much excited. Keep enthusiastic, but on the other side, keep really your head cold and be able to calm down when the things are getting too excited, to push when the things are getting too calm, just to make sure that everything is moving in the right way all the time. And that's probably one of the most difficult thing to do, because you have weekends when you come back and everything went wrong, and you still need to find the good words to put people in the mindset of not getting disappointed and not getting discouraged. And when a weekend is going well, you need to find the same tough word to keep people working and not thinking that we have achieved what we had to achieve, because you never achieve enough. So it's probably this type of characteristic I would put.
Indeed. Nikki, thank you so much for that question. I just to follow up on that, in terms of obviously you being a team principal, is there anyone that you've spoken to in the paddock that's been a team principal, anyone that you've tried to look at and mold yourself around, or has someone given you some advice or anything about how, or have you just taken it as this is my approach and I'm going to do it my way?
I think I try to do it my way, but you get inspiration for sure. I had that chance to work for 10 years for Jean Todt, so
Wow.
You can imagine that you learn a lot with someone like this, and definitely and we still talk a lot. So he's still one of the people trying. He doesn't want to explain me or tell me anything. He's more telling me keep pushing, keep pushing, keep clinical, keep things done properly, and keep pushing, and one day it will come. And then I have that chance to have worked with quite a few people in motorsport world. Should it be Fred Vasseur when we started Formula E? Should it be Laurent Mekies in the FIA? Should it be a few people like this? And there is no mentorship or no real advice, because they are humble enough not to want to tell me what to do, because they know how difficult it is. But still, it's good to know that you can call those people when you are in a difficult moment, and you can at least explain or tell what you have to say to someone who can listen to you. There are a few like this around me, and then I'm always happy to be able to give a call to those guys when it's tough.
I'd quite like to follow that up as well, because you mentioned some people there, like Laurent Mekies, who was at the FIA as well, and is now team principal of RB. Went to Ferrari for a bit. We're seeing this a lot more in recent years, that people are coming from a role in the FIA into into a team instead. What is there something behind that? Is that, or is it just it's a new challenge?
I think it's part of the way you can choose to manage your career in motorsport. I always alternated moment in organization, moment in racing, because it's tough when you are in that exposed position of being racing, and the type of stress, the type of pressure is different than the one you have when you organize. So alternating both positions is really interesting. And if I take my own example, I think what I loved when I was proposed the project, I was at the FIA in a position which was, I would say, quite comfortable, and maybe too comfortable. I needed something again to challenge me a bit. And when I was proposed the project of leading Mahindra, from Anand Mahindra himself, Anish Shah, or Rajesh Jurika, or Velu, I think all those guys, they wanted to push something more ambitious, and that's what I loved. So that was probably a bit of the two, challenging myself and having a challenge which is also at the level of something I thought I could really have a lot of fun, a lot of issues also, but a lot of fun.
Perfect. Nikki, so thank you so much for coming on the FE Bar and asking your question to Fred.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We've got Chloe in the chat that we can bring across now. But before we hear from Chloe, I've just got a question here, because we've had a couple people who sent in questions who couldn't make it tonight, and I've got one from Adam from the USA here. He says, "What's your take on Formula E going to Homestead Miami Speedway next season, and how have you felt the support from the USA when you've been there?"
So we go to the US in 2 weeks, back to Portland. Great support. I think since the beginning, when we were in New York, it was great. Portland has been a big question mark when we went there for the first time, but a big success. So definitely we hope that this year it will be another great success, and we do good results, because we need those one right now. Going to Miami Homestead is, I would say, for me, I love the idea of going to a new place, because new place means no one has any real data, no one has big learnings from the previous season, and having the drivers I have, I know they are getting used very quickly to new tracks. So normally I see it as more as an opportunity than as a threat. So I love the idea, and then going on the other side of the US is good. I definitely think, a bit as I said for India, US deserves more than one race for Formula E. We could have 2 or 3 races there. If we were able to do one on the west, one on the east, and another one somewhere, it would be just great.
Awesome.
So back to US is important. New location, great idea.
Right, I think is Chloe in?
Yeah, Chloe's here.
Chloe, welcome to the FE Bar.
Nice picture, Chloe. Nice picture.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, big Eduardo Mortara fan. What's your question for Fred?
Yeah, so obviously anyone that knows me knows that this is the driver lineup of my dreams this year. So I'm just a little bit
Mine
nosy,
too.
and
Mine too.
honestly, I just want to know what it's like to manage them because obviously they're both very experienced drivers and they seem to gel really quickly from our perspective, especially with each other. And yeah, just want to know what it's like to manage them.
Honestly, it's quite easy to manage them because they exactly know what they want and what they don't want. So that's a big step. What I really liked each time I had to deal with them at the beginning is that they both embraced the project. When you join a team like we are, where you know that we are at the bottom and we are building slowly, you know that the things might not be as quick as what you want. And they are a big help for me. So it's for me, they are driving the cars, but they are also co-driving the team with me. They are helping so much on putting the right ideas, putting the right atmosphere, giving people the right feeling of how performance will be rewarded when we will get it. And when we get it, or when we got it, like Edo did, we getting the pole, or Nick did in is just huge because the way they have put their efforts into the team is just something great. So I would say I'm. You said it's your favorite lineup or dream lineup. It's also mine, and I'm so proud and happy that they joined us and they joined me in that journey. They trusted what we proposed them, and now I can't wait giving them a much better car so that they can really come back to the top and the front and get the reward they deserve. But definitely managing them is not that difficult, except at one moment is when they start wrong. You know, when the weekend is not starting exactly as we would like, and it's not even depending on racing. You have a bit of an issue on. Then it's the moment where you need to make sure that we are around them and we bring them back into their head to what we are here for. And then, but it's two superhuman beings, two super drivers for sure. But on top of that, two super teammates, as you said, they go super well together. Yeah. And that's a big help also on a daily basis here, because having two drivers working together is something which changes our life on a daily basis. So no, it's lineup of your dream, lineup of my dream, and let's live the dream now. We just need to live the dream.
Yes, absolutely.
Chloe, any further questions or to while you're here, or is that the only one you've got? As you're a big Mahindra fan.
I have a follow up to that. So
go on, give Chloe a little bit of thinking time.
So
thank you.
You've had so obviously you said that they get on really well. So, and I don't want you to remember much of this because I'm assuming you want to just forget this entirely. But if I take you back to October, where for the one big day of testing that we actually had, and you guys had one car. How did you communicate that between Nick and Edo in terms of who would get the time in the car on that Friday?
Oh, they both had a bit, but to be honest, again, they were very strong team players, because when we started, we were not sure that we would have any time for anyone. So I would say that we were happy to be able to save a little bit of time and to gain a little bit of time for both of them. Then it was a little quite easy. Edo knew that he had a bit of more of track time already in the car, and he was fine to give additional track time to Nick. So it has honestly, I don't even think that it has been a discussion of more than 2 minutes, because everybody was so happy to be able to still participate to that. And on top of that, when Edo got in the car, he got very quickly very well, because if you remember, he had a very good feeling and very good time.
He
very
was
quickly.
rapid.
Exactly. Yes. So that probably helped also the transition, because he felt okay, he was there. So that was good. Maybe sometimes he tells that he felt too well. because when we went to the first races, he didn't feel as well. So he said, what happened there? So, but we couldn't manage to have so bad condition at all races that he feels so well. But no, in general, very easy topic. Both understood how difficult it was for everyone. They saw the level of the amount of work everybody put to make sure that they could at least manage to get one car on track. And they were already very grateful that we were able to do that for them.
Yeah, was that like a mass, like, just going back to it very quickly, just not too long on it, but in just how big of a setback was that fire going into the season? Like I know you lost so much IT equipment, and I know it came out, but just explain to the fans, like, how much you knew you were on the back foot going into the season. Did that add an extra step of back footness to make you even further behind going into race one?
Yeah. So as you know, we were already not the most favorite team in the championship at that date, and definitely we were not impacted directly by the fire as itself, but we had so much damages coming out of the heat or from the fact that the firemen had to turn off the fire on the other box, that our car were flooded with a lot of bad product they used to turn off the fire. So it was damaging a lot of things. IT for sure, the car of Nick in that case, a lot of spare parts, a lot of installations, a lot of things we have in the box. When we install the box, you have a lot of cabling and a lot of infrastructure which are included inside, and all this was not usable anymore. So for us, the first impact is definitely how to run the car during the test, and you know that you missed some track time. And already it's not good, because when you miss half of the test track time because you miss one car, it's a lot. On top of that, the car we were exploiting was done in a very, let's say, basic way, not with all the tools we are normally using to get the data and to get the understanding and have time to work properly and with good infrastructure around us. And the third was how to recover from all this. How to rebuild the car, how to clean everything, plus the additional stress on everyone, because you have to accept that during those moments you have a lot of stress on the staff, on the members of the team, and even if everybody is taking over during the test itself, when you come back to the factory, you need to manage that everybody recovers, get some proper rest, etc., etc. So. But that's probably what created also an additional team spirit for us, because we knew we were in a difficult situation, so we had to fight to be back. And I would say it's part of the construction and additional ceiling probably for the season. And again, I prefer to see the positive than the negative. Yeah. Positive that we have been able to recover, still able to get the people all safe back home, and then make sure that everyone is getting from that a lot of knowledge. Also on the safety side, to be honest. So that's we are maybe more careful than we were, and that was maybe necessary. So we have a lot of learnings for sure. If I have to choose, I would prefer that we had a smooth testing in Valencia and nothing like this happened. But as it happened, we tried to take the most positive things out of it, and definitely creating a stronger team spirit and giving us the sense of priority has been some outcomes.
Indeed. Chloe, just back to you. Final question, or all tapped out?
I just want to say I was there in Berlin for Edo Pole, and I don't think I've ever screamed so loud in my life. I even had people coming up to me being like, "Were you the one screaming in the grandstand?" I was like, "Yeah." But yeah, it's great to see that the hard work is paying off, and yeah, this team's.
It was definitely a great moment, and I'm happy that it was the same for the fans and for you in particular, because for us it was such a relief on one side, because we were so frustrated after Japan, because we missed a big thing in Japan. Let's be honest, Japan, we were able to go on the podium. The safety car didn't come at the right moment. We had but Edo had a pace which was just amazing in Japan, and we were already there. We knew that we have that pace, and he managed well the efficiency, which is still a weakness, but still he managed to do a race which was really a strong one. And at the end, on top of that, having the penalty was probably one of the worst moments in the as a team principal for this season, but. But and we still miss those points because it's 8 additional points. If we had those points, we would be probably P9 and still having a chance to go and get a bit to P8, P7 in the championship because they are not that far. But again, I think it has been a tough moment. But Berlin definitely was the one we needed to make sure that everybody get the adrenaline shot. You need to go on for the rest of the season. It was huge there. But you cried, but I think a lot of people cried, me included. Me included, to be honest.
I cried a lot that day.
It was a special moment indeed. Chloe, thank you so much for coming on the FE Bar. Please come back again.
Will do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chloe.
Thank you.
Just a little plug. We still got a little bit of time left, so if you want to pop into the Zoom call and ask Fred a question, you're more than welcome to the !Zoom in chat, and you can come on. We have Saz.
While Saz comes in, just a little bit of breaking news that we've just had come through on the chat. Jake Hughes has got engaged.
Congratulations to him.
Oh,
congratulations to Jake.
Congratulations.
Yes, indeed.
Nice little thing that we'll just put in there. Congratulations to him.
And hopefully Saz
we'll continue on with the show now. I just thought I'd just whack that in there.
While we get Saz in.
Yeah, Saz is here.
Saz. Hello. Welcome.
I exist.
Yes, excellent. Welcome to the FE Bar again. What's your question for Fred?
Hi Fred. My question is, what rule would you like to introduce to Formula E? If you could introduce any rule, what you would introduce in?
He could have done this a couple years ago.
I think I did most of the current
but now
rules.
he's principle. Like he can make a rule that Mahindra win every race.
No, I would not go for this one. I would go more for if I had one rule right now.
Penalties for everyone, Mahindra.
Maybe points up to the 12th or 14th position because we would have had much more points.
Yes, I think points should. I think because Formula E is so competitive and there's 22 cars. I think that the MotoGP system should be implemented, which goes all the way down to 15th place. And I feel because the thing is, I think that the guys who race their hearts out and then come 15th, they deserve to get points.
And think of being 11th or 12th.
Yeah. The thing is, you finished 11th, you get the same points you do if you finish 19th, and that's not really.
Yeah, but then this is true. This is true, and it's so much a challenge to finish a race right now in Formula E because it's so tight. City tracks or those big tracks where we have a lot of contact between the cars. I think it would also encourage probably the drivers to drive a little bit more carefully on trying to keep the car alive up to the end. But on top of that, finishing is already part of a result. And so that if I had to choose one right now, that would probably be this one.
Interesting. Although if you're in 13th, though, so if you were to finish 13th, it would be the same feeling as finishing 11th, effectively.
It's true if you go to 12, but I think considering to give points to a little bit further in the ranking, I would really have a look at it. To be honest, I suggested it to Sporting Working Group. And not everybody is looking at it because you always have the idea of staying like the others, but I think Formula E is particular and you can treat Formula E specifically.
Yeah.
Do you know who is looking at it? Me. I've kept a spreadsheet for the last few seasons. If the points went down to 15th place, I am a bit sorry to report you're still in 11th, but on countback you've got the same points as ERT at the moment. So
which is different because if I have no point to recover, the next one is good.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So, indeed, Saz, any other questions before we let you go?
And I think with one poll, we should be ahead. No.
No, I've included poll. I've changed the poll system, so poll's only 2 points in this. So with the poll,
okay.
So yes, he would be. It's just in his made-up world.
I did a few of those calculations too. I did a few of those calculations too, to be honest.
Yes.
I like this rule. I think it should happen.
Fred, can you get me a job in the FIA?
May I ask the same question to Saz? What would be the rule for you? What would be the one you would like to change?
Oh, that's a Damn, I wasn't expecting that, but got this. I
It's the
think.
Uno reverse card.
The Uno reverse, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about a rule, but maybe more penalties for drivers that or more consistency with the penalties for drivers that because at the moment, yeah, something to do with that, or maybe a rule that I don't know. Oh,
No, but I think,
and all the
I
cars
think
have to have beautiful, sparkly liveries because glitter on the liveries as well.
yeah, but ours is the best. No, at least we are good on that one.
I will
Yeah,
say
that one is good.
it's a
Like the
very
Mahindra one looks
livery.
good. So yeah, I think something more like clarity on the penalties, and yeah, every team has to have different color liveries. Mahindra, you can keep yours because it's amazing
Yeah, but we will try to find an even better one next year.
with glitter.
With glitter. Indeed, although there could be some competition for liveries with Lola's one. Lola's one does look very nice indeed. Saz,
They're not going to be a team. It's
no, yeah, but
we're not
we
doing
know
this again, Jack.
We know this.
We're not doing this
But
again.
Lola, yeah, I know they're not a team, but they've got a delivery. They showed pictures.
Remember
of it.
the
It was
song.
on- Yes, remember the song. Right, Saz, thank you so much for coming on the FE bar. Means a lot.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so we've only got a couple minutes left. If you want to jump in and you've got time, then feel free to jump in. I've got one or two questions here, Dodo. This is my wrapping up question because I know we've only got about a couple of minutes. So obviously, I remember in pre-season testing, Fred, you told me that last season was season 0, this season season 1. What can we expect? What's the change? What am I expecting to see from Mahindra for season 2? What's the big step that you want to make over the off season?
Oh, I think for us, definitely the big step is the car, because we developed our new homologation or the soon new homologated car. So it's 100% new rear end with let's say a little bit stronger ambitions on performance. So definitely we hope that car will help us to get closer to the top 5. We know we didn't have enough time to do the car. We would have loved to really go and fight for the top, and we know how difficult it is. But definitely we will have a car which should bring us closer to top 5, maybe more. But definitely we hope we will be able to fight more in the middle of the field.
Yeah, perfect. And then I wanted to talk about this because I think it was a bit of a big news story. I want to talk about London, and I just wanted to get your opinion on it for the calendar. Because there's obviously a lot of news stories going around, and I don't know how much you can say, but I thought it was worth asking. Obviously, London's big city. We used to have Paris, and I know Paris was a big deal for Formula E and getting Paris, like Tokyo was. And I think London was as well. And there's the potential, obviously, as the cars develop, that we'll lose these tracks in the future, like London and potentially even Tokyo, because Tokyo, as great as it was, speaking to Jeff Dodds, he was like, it's still tight and they'd have to make alterations, potentially for Gen 4. So I was wondering, there's talks of Silverstone, there's talks of going to different places. Is it important for Formula E, do you feel, to keep hold of these, I'm not going to call London a core city, but a big name city such as London, on the calendar, to say that we're still racing in Hearts, and we're still racing, and we're trying our hardest to race in London, rather than going to maybe racetracks like Brands Hatch or Silverstone in the future?
I think mixing is good, as long as we find permanent tracks which are suitable for the type of car we have. And the type of racing we like. But definitely having big names on the calendar, iconic cities, and city center or close to city center is very important. So London is a big name on the calendar, like Berlin is a big name, like Mexico is a big name, like Miami will be a big name for sure. Like you have a lot of places like this where having them on the calendar is something which creates value for everyone, and which makes the calendar and the championship more attractive for sponsors, but also for drivers. Winning the race in Japan and in Tokyo is something quite unique, and you want to be the winner of the Tokyo race. In the same way, you want to be the winner of Monaco for sure. So we need kind of a mix between those type of tracks where permanent layouts can be there, or city tracks, but suitable for the performances of the car, which will for sure increase a little bit and quite massively in the future. but still we can find some good tricks on keeping both worlds together. Good location for permanent track with good names, but keep as much as we can cities, big naming cities. I think it's very important for the DNA of the championship. The championship was based on city racing because we wanted to showcase electric mobility within cities and make sure that people come to the event without any effort because we are bringing the show to them. And I think this is still part of the DNA of Formula E, and we need to make sure that we don't lose that 100%. So constraints will create some or let's say speed constraints or performance constraints will create some challenges, but it's good if we are creative and we find solutions to go over those constraints to keep the racing in cities if we can, and if not, find good locations which are also iconic.
Someone did mention in the chat earlier, obviously we come back off the weekend of Le Mans. Would a Le Mans race, obviously not the full circuit because it's too long, but on the Bugatti track, do you think that would be a good opportunity for Formula E? Because it's in it's on the outskirts of the town of Le Mans, so it would technically classify as a city race, like Mexico does.
Not a bad question. I think all those tracks which are very close to a city and also very linked to the history of the city, I think it's good because there are plenty of areas where we probably forgot to go up to now, and maybe we could. So I'm happy not to be in charge of working with the calendar anymore, and it's a big task and a very big challenge for Formula E guys. And I know that Jeff and Alberto are working hard on making the best out of it. But definitely, anytime you can find a place where you have a mix between the pure DNA of the championship, an iconic location or city, and if you can, on top of that, find a bit of history behind or something which is bringing additional credibility to the sport and the motorsport format of Formula E, it's good. So I would say, why not exploring those options? But definitely not the big track in Le Mans. That's why that would be difficult.
That would be difficult for energy savers. What we're going to do, Fred, just before you go, is we're just going to squeeze one more fan, and we've got one more fan that's just popped in and really wants to get a question. So if we just get Ed in, and we'll just get his question out of the way and see what he wants to say.
Out of the way.
Lovely. Yeah, out of the way. I know we're a bit tight on time. I'm pushing it, pushing it tightly. Yeah. But I was like, oh, it's just when someone just pops up last minute, and you're like, oh, we'll try and get them in.
Hello, Ed.
Hello, Ed.
Hello.
Hello. Well, yeah. What's your question for Fred?
Oh, first off, sorry for showing up late. I just got back from managing a bunch of 8-year-olds at Cub Scout meetings.
Lovely.
No, so nothing compared to what you do, Fred, of course. But obviously, and I imagine, because I've missed most of this conversation, that we've probably talked about your previous role with the FIA and you coming to Mahindra and taking over that.
A little bit, but you can ask it. We haven't touched on it much yet.
Okay, cool.
Much,
right,
so
okay. New ground. We're going to new ground then. That's good. So I was interested what sort of skills, because obviously you had a very, very demanding role at the FIA. Managing, the whole sporting side of things, and then going to Mahindra, it's a sort of, I don't want to say it, gamekeeper turned poacher, I think was sort of thing that Sam Smith might have said in the race or whatever. But yeah, I imagine there are a bunch of skills that are, helpful for you in that new role at the team. Obviously, you've got to manage a completely different culture to the FIA, and you've got these two drivers, De Vries and Mortara, who are on, I think, is it long-term deals, isn't it? 3 years or something like that. So, obviously that they're going to be part of this rebuilding effort, isn't it? So I'm really excited to hear you talk more about that. So that's not a question, but
just to answer FIA side, honestly, I was when I moved from Peugeot Sport at the time and Citroën Racing to FIA, a lot of people told me, and I was a bit younger than today, and a lot of people told me it's maybe a bit too early to retire. And definitely that's not what I lived in the FIA. I had that chance to end up in a federation which was led by someone who wanted to develop it like crazy. And it was a lot of discussion with Jean-Todt, to be honest, because I was definitely the one he wanted to get ideas from and pushing new concepts, pushing new ideas. So I had that chance not to not to stay too much into just fine-tuning some regulation of a nice and running championship, but really to develop, find ideas, put new concepts on the paper. Formula E is part of them, but I also managed to do the first drifting race for the FIA in the center of Tokyo, to bring and to make drag racing evolving, to bring a touring car change from WTCC to WTCR, the regulations for WEC, but also the motorsport game. So it was kind of a role where you benefit from the power of the FIA and the capabilities of opening doors, the support of a strong president behind you, and a very strong structure with strong professionals. Should it be the technical department in the FIA? Should it be the marketing? Should it be the sporting and the guys working with me? So it was more an adventure of creating new product and bringing as much as we could the logo of the FIA and the flag of the FIA on as many disciplines as possible, including esport. We even did some specific concept around esport. And what was very interesting for me was to be a little bit disruptive, to be a little bit surprising for people, and go into the World Council, for example, and be sure that each time I was presenting something where they would say, this guy is really crazy. And that was really the thing I liked in the FIA experience. And Formula E has been the perfect laboratory for that, because the first time we went and we explained to World Council members what we wanted to do on Formula E, changing cars. No. Changing cars during the race. It will not be something, we won't change the driver. The car will be a different one during the same race. And I can tell you that a lot of people were looking at us thinking that we were totally mad and had no chance to make something successful out of it. And this is probably what I liked the most, was take things where nobody could think that it would work and try to make it work. Was the same with the FIA Motorsport Games. Nobody was understanding the idea of racing under your flag and your country. And at the end, it is something which became quite successful. Same with drifting. When we brought drifting within the FIA, nobody was thinking that this type of population and people would like to be under the flag of the FIA. And at the end, we found common ground and good things. So that was really the excitement for me within the FIA, is to benefit from all that structure. All this, I was always saying it's an old lady, the FIA. It's an old administration, an old structure. You cannot create any revolution inside, but you can push evolutions. And evolution, we were pushing hard. And definitely, this is what I found in the project of Mahindra Racing. When it has been proposed to me, it was corresponding in the same spirit of, it will probably be difficult. It will probably be a challenge. There is a lot of things to do. Nobody's really expecting me there, but this is what I liked.
Nice.
And I like this idea of the challenge of taking something unexpected and try to get the best out of it. And I think you mentioned the two drivers who joined the project. I don't think so many people were expecting those two names with us for season 10 already. In the same way, there will be probably some other announcement, hopefully soon, where there are a lot of things happening, and that's what is exciting, and that's what I love. Is I love this idea of taking challenges where you're not expecting necessarily there, but you create a good surprise, hopefully, and if patience is there, if the level of effort is consistent and strong enough, the result will come. And that's definitely where we are, and what I loved within Mahindra, what I loved for the 10 years at the FIA, and what I liked in the previous jobs also, World Series by Renault, where nobody was hoping that this could work, and it has worked. So I like a little bit this idea of making something not really expected work. And that's probably what I found in the DNA of the project here in Mahindra. And for the moment, I'm not disappointed. I can tell you that I'm not disappointed with the level of challenge.
Oh, I love that you mentioned World Series by Renault. I love that championship. That was amazing.
That was my first experience in motorsport, 2006, when I joined.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ed. Thank you. It's a great question as well. And I have to thank you as well, Fred, because the passion I've got from this, like, just to end, you must be so proud of Formula E, because obviously you've been there since its birth, just from behind the scenes, and see where it is now. You must be so proud.
Honestly, proud that it's still there because so many people said that it would fail
Yeah.
after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years. What I loved was the human experience, working with Alejandro, with Alberto, with all the people around them, and with my team, and developing something like this is definitely a human experience as much as a professional experience, and it has created strong links with people. The thing which is interesting is now try to make sure that I change enough my mind not to take care still a little bit about the future of the championship and only about the future of my team. I still like to give a little bit my point of view on the way they should develop the championship. And I think sometimes they feel I should take care of my team only now.
Frederic.
Actually, that's one thing that very quickly I just want to, because you're on about like developing it from the start and everything, and how how people were expecting it to crash and burn. Miami season 1. When you left there, when you left Miami, what's the mood?
Miami was definitely so. First of all, it was a crazy place to be, and that was the perfect place for Formula E, or one of the perfect places. But I think it's probably where I think the team we created, even within the FIA, has been able to manage something which, let's say, in a standard FIA format would have blocked everything. And we have created a lot of flexibility to manage to still start later, but still start and find solutions. And that's what I loved all along the way the Formula E project has developed, is that we knew that there will be a lot of challenges, and we had a lot of challenges. Every race was with an issue. Miami was one. Remember Battersea Park when we had to...
I remember.
Remember this one? You can think of some other races where we had other challenges, and each time the option was the show must go on and we need to find a solution. So I think it's probably one of the things I probably liked was to change a little bit the FIA into something where let's make it happen. And after we capitalize and we learn for the next season to be better. But definitely the day we are there, let's make it happen. And it was definitely a challenge. The same with when you look at the first race in Beijing, we had no idea how it will start, to be honest, because it was a big bet. And races like this where you have a big question marks which were there, you forget them after. So the question on how I was after Miami, probably thinking of the next race already, because this one was done and we managed. But the around midday, it was a tough moment.
Yeah. It's just that we've heard so many things about season 1, and the thing that I think I've seen most is that Miami was sort of like the breaking point, and like if it was going to end, it was going to be there.
I think that you had plenty of breaking points in season 1. If you remember, the crash at the end of the first race could have been a breaking point. Miami race could have been a breaking point. You have many of those moments where if it could turn one way or another, and in that case it turned in the right one. But probably also because we manage all those moments with a lot of positivity and a lot of solution-oriented mind. And that probably helped on saying, okay, let's no stress. Let's just take it as it is. And then we go on. And I have the same type of experience if I look at my first season in Mahindra Racing. Many moments where you say, okay, what should we do? Very bad ones, like South Africa, for example. And then you have to make a call, which is probably the toughest you have ever made, or Mahindra Racing have ever made for the team. But you have to go on for the next one. So you need to forget quick. Otherwise, you need to learn a lot, but forget quick.
Amazing. Frederic, it's been an absolute pleasure. We could sit here and talk all day, but we've all got things to do. What we're going to do is we're going to take a break. It's been absolutely amazing having you on, and we'll see you, me and Pico will see you guys on the other side, but we'll let Fred go. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks a lot for the time, and it was a nice discussion.
Nice.
Support us for Portland and London. We need points and we need good support.
We will, and we will see you in London as well, Fred. Right.
Okay.
We'll see
Very
you
good.
there. Right. We'll
Bye
see you on
bye.
the
Thanks
other
for the time.
side.
Ciao, ciao.
And we are back. It says Aisha. Of course it would. And also Figgy's Pico. Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. So we'll fix that. Because I forgot that we were coming on to this one. And for whatever reason, Pico, even though it's in the right thing, is not there. So we'll get Pico back. I will do this very quickly. It's just a black screen. It says Aisha.
Yeah, I've just realised I'm not even on the screen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. That's a start.
I don't understand why. It shouldn't have happened. It's because it's on. Oh, I know why. I know why. It's because I had to change the last camera to Zoom meeting, but then I had to change this to Discord. But then, there we go. You are hopefully back up, and I will change your name. Right.
Am I Aisha?
I will change your name right now. But while you're here,
I don't mind being Aisha.
You don't mind. You can be Aisha. Aisha's great. Frederic, Bertrand. What show? What legend? Absolute legend.
Lovely man.
I need you to say a bit more than that, my friend.
Right, okay. One of these in a few weeks.
There's a lot to talk about, actually. Just to end the show.
I mean, do you want to get my thoughts on the last few weeks, or?
Right, let's go through. Actually, right, you've chipped your teeth.
Right, yes.
You chipped your teeth.
This is what I subtly mentioned at the start of the show. If someone could work out if there's something.
And I noticed it instantly, but I didn't want to say anything in front of Fred.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So what happened? Tell us what happened. What?
Right. This is actually an injury from 16 years ago.
16 years ago.
Yes. Don't worry. It will make sense at the end. So I broke my arm in 2008. And then in a desperate need to fit in with other youths, I started climbing on the wall.
Like free climbing? What's it called?
No. It was in like a car park in.
That's free running. Free running.
Well, it wasn't because I was 8 and I was 9 and I was walking on a wall. That's all it was.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like the youths of, because you said youths, and when you said running,
no.
And I thought, like people who run and like free run off walls and jump from wall to wall to wall to wall to wall and jump down. I thought that's what you were doing for a second.
Yeah. No, this was me trying to fit in with other people at Cubs in 2008, and so I walked on the wall. I then tripped over myself, fell off the wall, and to protect my face, I used my arm that was in my plaster cast to protect my face.
Oh.
And it went into my teeth, and so that tooth came out completely.
Wow.
And that one was chipped. So yeah, it was very chaotic.
Wait, were they adult teeth?
They were, yeah. So they'd already come through, which was annoying because if they were baby teeth, it would have been fine. It would have been water under the bridge, no worries. So yeah, the
so are these dentures then? Your front two teeth?
No. So they stuck them back in.
Oh, okay. Ow.
So yeah, no, I hated it so much. And then, and I did notice people in the chat saying earlier that my haircut isn't queer enough for Pride Month. So it was at Pride, and I went to a club, and
oh my God.
and it's got low ceilings, low sort of like archways, and so I clattered my head, and that shot the little chip back out. It felt, I realised immediately, even though that
wait, hold on. I don't know if I listened properly. Did you hit your head on the ceiling? Is that what you're saying?
Sort of. They got low archways
okay.
in the club that I was in, and so I just whacked my head a little bit, and that fell out. Don't worry, I've still hang on, and it's here tonight.
Is that your chip too?
That's the other part of my teeth.
Wow. They're not gonna glue that back in, are they?
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna take it when I go to the dentist next Monday. But yeah, so that came out. I kept it in my wallet for too long, so that probably needs sanitizing,
cleaning or something.
Before it goes back in my mouth, because it's been rattling around with lots of euros. Yeah. So. Yeah, And because it was an old injury, I was fine, so I went back down and had a lovely rest of the night. I really enjoyed it. And yeah,
Perfect.
and then was in work for 9:30 the following morning.
That's hilarious. Like, oh well, things when alcohol impaired or not alcohol impaired.
A little bit alcohol impaired, but yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Right, we haven't talked to you since the calendar actually.
Yes.
So, and then what we're going to do is do a Portland review, and then potentially at 9 o'clock we'll be joined by Nick, for Nick at 9 to end the show, just to talk about the latest news. You're
Sam,
like,
yeah. No, sorry. I just want to butt in and say, Saz, it's also my front tooth as well.
oh,
It's the one on the. It's that one there. So yeah. I can't hide.
We've got a couple of people in the chat room. I don't know how many of them want to come again. Although we do have Chris, who's on the chat in the waiting room. We can maybe pull him in a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But if you do want to come in again, please let us know that you would like to come in again. It's easier to message Pico or just message in, because Pico can move about.
Or just tell Ed, and Ed will.
Or tell Ed, and he'll tell us that you guys want to come back on. And again, if you want to come back on and talk Portland or talk anything Formula E, you're more than welcome. So, calendar came out. What were your thoughts?
Right. It is a great hole for a straw, Saz. I completely agree. Calendar. We're starting this year, which is very exciting. I think Sao Paulo is an awesome place to start the season. Looking forward to that. Miami, I think that'll be interesting. I think it's a fantastic replacement for Portland, because Portland, it's just too straight.
Too straighty. Do you think it's
the
interesting?
Pride Month getting woo.
Do you think it's interesting that, or is it just because of a lack of tracks are unavailable at this precise moment that we're more to street tracks again than we are permanent circuits?
Yeah. No. The thing is, I think going forward, I'm not going to moan about having a healthy mix of both. Of both street circuits and permanent circuits. But the thing is, I really like the ones like Shanghai and Mexico City, because they are in cities, so they are still technically city races. And I know that we've been on and on about this a lot. But yeah, no, delighted that there's no Portland and Misano, because honestly, they are the worst for the peloton style races. So yeah, I'm happy that they're gone. I'm hoping that we do return to Italy in some form, but yeah, the thing is that there isn't really sort of the place to do it. I think that they could have sort of worked with Rome a bit better, but if the price tag wasn't there realistically, because that's the main reason why we're not back in Rome. Yeah, it's nice to see London for what we are led to believe is the last time. Which will be a loss to the calendar, but I'm happy that we get to go back one more time. I need to. So I haven't booked my hotel for London yet. I need to see how much this costs, and then I'll decide on what I need to do. At the moment, I'm thinking of staying in Slough and getting the Lizzie line in, because that might be a better option for me, which is ridiculous.
Well, at least it wouldn't be too bad from Slough. Slough is, I'm just trying to think from where I live. I'm 35 minutes away from the.
It's about an hour
on the. So yours must be about
It's about an hour on.
But at least it's door to door. At least it's door to door. If you can get somewhere close to the Elizabeth line station. But anyway,
that's what I'm looking at. If anyone wants to get an Airbnb or something near the circuit, if you haven't booked any location, let me know, because I'm down for that.
Also, what was I going to suggest? But you said we're obviously disappointed that we've lost Misano, but we've lost Italy as a result, and I think that's a massive shame.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I've got no idea what Nick Golding is going to do to try and get €4.5 pizzas next season. But yeah, no, seriously though, yeah, no, it is a disappointment that we have lost Italy. But I am certain that is like number one on Jeff's to-do list, is get Formula E back to Italy. Obviously,
where would we go?
There are other things to do, but the thing, I think Vallelunga was not a bad idea.
But
it's a half hour outside Rome.
But then I was speaking to Marcelo Padin, who is from Electric Motor News, about that, and he
how is
said
he?
he's very well.
Good.
He's very well. He did scare me in Berlin, saying to me that this is a journalist, by the way, Italian journalist for Electric Motor News. He did scare me that he said he was going to retire, and he said, "No, I'm not retiring." In Berlin, I was like, "No, wait. Is this?" And he's like, "No, me retire. I'm not retiring from this." So I was like, "Fair play," but he was like, "That was just if he said we went there, that would have been a terrible idea. There's like no accommodation. Getting there is a nightmare." Like he was against that idea. He was like, no, that was a pretty bad idea.
Fair
So
enough.
for me, it's a city. You've got to find a city. You know, it doesn't have to be a big city.
The thing is,
Like Naples. As long as it's got an airport, I'm happy. I'm sold. Naples, great. Let's go to Naples. You know, I could go to Bologna if you wanted to go to Bologna. There's you got Milan if you wanted to try and get a Milan race. There are some big cities.
Milan is the interesting one because there is a racetrack just near Milan.
Yeah, but it's not going to be Monza.
The Autodromo di Nazionale di Monza.
But Mark Preston said we wouldn't be racing in Monza, so
yeah, no, that is a fever dream for when the cars can
race without worrying too much about energy management.
And stuff like that.
Because Monza would work.
Monza would be bad. Otherwise, Monza would. I think for Gen 3, Monza would be bad.
Oh, very bad. Very bad. I don't even know if it's good for Gen 4, let alone Gen 3. Right, and we just have to see how these cars...
It's probably ready for about Gen 7.
Maybe.
In 2034.
That depends, but whether you can get something in Milan... Is Turin the same as Milan? I thought it always was. That's where Juventus is.
Turin is just down the road. I went there in 2022. It's the host city of the 2020 Eurovision Song Contest. It was wonderful.
There you go. Yeah.
But the thing is that from what actually, the south of Torino, there's a nice little industrial bit.
Yeah.
So south of Torino might be a good place.
As long as there's an option. As long as Formula E can find some place with a major airport and it's not miles away from the major airport, not like Miami, 45 miles away.
I got a bus in from the airport to the city because it was still quite a way. The airport is about 40 minutes away on a bus, something like that.
Not 40 minutes on a bus is fine. That's perfect. It's not miles away from getting in. So that's Italy. Obviously Monaco double header now, and then we've got Shanghai still. It's just the interesting Tokyo double header too, and then we end the season in London, which could be the last London E-Prix. And it was interesting what Frederic was saying, that we need to keep these day and days. I think that was kind of like, we should be trying to keep these iconic cities. We should be trying to do a little bit more. That's what I got from that kind of conversation. And if it's not the XL, then try and find another location, because we've lost Rome and we've lost Italy, terrible. We've lost Hyderabad, we've lost India, terrible, right? We've lost Cape Town potentially. Cape Town are talking, but we haven't got Cape Town back in. Right, all these cities, New York have gone, right, and we're racing all these iconic venues, and they've just disappeared.
Yeah, and that's why I don't sort of understand why something like Long Beach isn't brought up again, because actually Long Beach was really good in seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if we do it like the weekend before IndyCar or something like that, it could work. St. Pete was rumoured for a couple of years ago, when instead we went to Portland. I think St. Pete would have been a far better race for Formula E, because I think it would just have suited everything better. But it's the fact that they use an airport runway for the front straight, and then the fact that it is the fact that it is a street circuit means that you have to shut everything down. So it is easier. The thing is, like, with the calendar at the moment, it feels like that they're just trying to cut corners just a tad, just to try and get a calendar in place, because these places are dropping like flies. Like Seoul, I don't think we'll ever go back there, unfortunately. Honestly, I've really enjoyed Seoul. It was a really cool place to go. India, I could see that coming back, potentially a race in Chennai. They've got a small circuit about 5 mile outside of the city centre, 5-10 mile outside the city centre, something like that. So that could be something that could be looked at. Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like we should. Yes, we want street circuits, but we should be encouraging races if it is permanent track races near a city, 100%. And that's why I know that the Brands Brigade is out in force with Nick Golden head and shouldering that up, but because it's on his doorstep. But the thing is, it would low key sort of work because it's not too far outside of London. Yes, you have to get because I looked this up on public transport for me because I'm Oxford. Oxford Tube gets you into London. You then need to go on the Lizzie line all the way down past the XL to Abbey Wood, and then you get on a bus from there. Then you have to walk about half an hour, and then get another bus down to Brands Hatch, and then you need to do the final 15-minute walk. And
or just drive.
I'm sure everyone would love that. Yeah, no, I'd just drive. I would
just drive. Well, I was just thinking.
I don't care. The M25. I've done it before. I can do it again.
For those people in chat, if you're in the Discord, and I think most of you probably are in the Discord, we're gonna play a game. We're not gonna play a game. I'm gonna ask a question.
Oh no.
I'm gonna ask a question.
Okay, that's better because the last time we played a game, every time we played a game, it's been far too chaotic, and I've hated it.
Yeah, and I've loved it. But I'm gonna play games. Here's the game, chat. This is what I'm gonna ask you. This is a question. You've got to come up with 2 drivers that you would. Let's say you've got your own Formula E team. You cannot take 2 drivers that are currently on the Formula E grid, and you cannot take 2 drivers that are on the F1 grid. So, what 2 drivers would you take for your Formula E team? That's the question I'm asking. And if you want to come on, tell Ed, because I know some of you are in there, and but tell Ed in the waiting room if you want to come on. I'm looking for 2 drivers, right, that are not in Formula 1. That are not in Formula E. So those are excluded. Formula 1 and Formula E drivers are excluded. You can use ex-Formula 1 drivers who are no longer in Formula 1. That is acceptable. But they basically can't be. And then who would you pick if you were the 11th or the 12th team in Formula E? Who would you pick?
I swear we did this.
No, we haven't done it.
No. Just at the start of lockdown, during the birth of the FEZ show.
The birth of the FEZ show.
You did. We did something like who would we want to see in a Formula E car one day? Now, my pick. I'm just going to reveal it now. My pick was Joseph Newgarden. And
what a
honestly,
pick.
I stand by that. I'd love to see Newgarden in a Formula E car. I think it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, that'd be my pick, Joseph Newgarden. What would you pick? Come and.
I was a massive. If you're talking IndyCar, I was a massive Ryan Hunter Ray fan. I don't know why. I like the name Ryan Hunter Ray.
Oh, they've got. I'm sorry. Right, you're rating Ryan Hunter Ray when there's 2 people on the IndyCar grid called Will Power and Stingray.
Stingray Roll's my new favourite driver. He's my new favourite. Because Stingray, what a name! Imagine, Stingray Bob, box. Message to Stingray. Stingray, come in, Stingray.
I think he just goes by Sting.
I don't know. It's just
Ray's his middle name. But it's genuinely his birth name, so I'm not sure what his parents were on when they decided that.
So, I'm just messaging Ed now. Says, ask if anyone in the chat, if anyone wants to tell us what. So like the stories, right, that we had, right. So if you want to tell us, says what their 2 drivers they'd have. Yeah.
I've just seen your message from 30 minutes ago saying great final question.
That was a really good final question. It was a great final question.
Which one? The
Miami one about what happened in season 1. I thought that was a great final question.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, that's the thing. We were just building. We were just chatting about him like starting for me. It's like into my head like everyone said Miami was almost a death. So and then, we need to find out more.
If you want to talk Portland as well. And who you think is going to win in Portland? or what do you think is going to happen for the championship? We'll also take calls on that. So we'll take calls on your 2 drivers that you want in Formula E that are not on the F1 grid or not in currently the FE grid. So you have to pick 2 drivers that are not on there, and it could be name related, a bit like Stingray Bob. If I was to actually think about this, who would I have? I think Paul Aaron and Taylor Barnard very much impressed me. So seeing their debuts, I'll be like, yep, I'll take those 2 rookies.
I got very
I think
because I was about to say they've already been in FE, but
they're not on the grid, are they? They're not official drivers. Robert Schwartz. I think Robert Schwartzman. I think again pretty impressive in Le Mans. Very quick in a Formula E car. So Robert Schwartzman could be up there.
Dodgy nationality.
Yeah, but
I do. Do you know what? And this is going to sound really awful now from me, but I just find it funny how Robert Schwartzman, because he had a Russian nationality license, and he couldn't compete under that.
Yeah, of course.
So he went to his Israeli license.
Well, unfortunately, you've got to pick something. He's a bit unfortunate there, though. We can't just ban him.
No, it's not problematic at all. No,
can't just ban him. Nikki has volunteered, so I'm going to get Nikki up, and we'll talk Portland with Nikki. Again, if you would like to talk and tell us. Hello, Nikki. So we're after here your 2 drivers that you would sign for your imaginary Formula E team that are currently not on the F1 grid and not on the Formula E grid. Who have you gone for?
It would be Alexander Rossi from McLaren IndyCar.
Nice.
And his teammate Pato O'Ward, because I think they would be brilliant in Formula E.
Yeah, Pato O'Ward's doing really well at the moment. He's really progressing. Yep. Go on.
Sorry. While we're on about McLaren's IndyCar drivers, it's just been announced that Nolan Siegel's going to be driving the number 6 for the rest of the season.
Is this the
right?
Teo Porcher's out.
Right.
Interesting. Is this 19-year-old? Is that 19-year-old that was in Le Mans?
Yes.
Yeah, he was bumped from the IndyCar grid because he crashed out. But then again, so did Pato a couple of years ago. So, and the thing is that
oh dear.
Yeah. So no. The thing is, I think sorry.
That would be my combination anyway.
Yeah.
Because I think they would be good at the strategic side of Formula E.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think Pato O'Ward has done a great job as well in IndyCar, and he's obviously doing well when he's had some Formula One tests as well. So I know there's a lot of talk about him potentially going to Formula One. So Pato O'Ward for sure.
I think at the moment is reserve or development driver for McLaren Formula One.
Yeah, he is indeed. What about Portland though? What are you expecting to happen in Portland? Obviously, I know it's going to be a peloton style race that I know you're not a massive fan of.
I'm coming around to it, Jack.
But what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Nick Cassidy was a bit dominant there last time. Do you think he'll still be dominant?
No, I think there are quite a few in contention. So people like, we still can't count out Oliver Rowland, Pascal.
Yep.
And Nick, maybe. They're the 3 that I think we can't think what you call it, like
rule out.
Say. But because Portland's a lot like Mazzano, I think Nick would probably be the one that would probably win there because of what happened in Mazzano when he was like 21st.
Mm-hmm.
So if he had a bad start or didn't qualify well, I think he could go on and win the race, or at least one of them.
No, indeed. So no shocks, though. No, like a Norman Nato winning or even a Jake Dennis winning, to be fair. I don't know if that's much of a shock. But no, you're sticking with the 3 big guns going for the championship.
Okay, then. If I was going to put somebody in the mix, it would be a McLaren driver, but it wouldn't be Sam.
Wouldn't be Sam. Hughes.
It would be Jake. It'd be Jake for his first win.
And I think personal life at the moment for him, obviously, ordered the up, so normally those upward trends sort of continue. So fingers crossed for him. It could do well. What was I going to say? Championship, Nikki. So Nick Cassidy's on fire. You've mentioned Oliver Rowland. You mentioned Pascal Verlaine. So I'm assuming they're your three title. You think the three main title men. I don't know if you throw Mitch Evans in there, but at this point with 4 races to go, who do you think your champion could be?
I think it's going to be, my opinion, between probably Oliver Rowland and Nick Cassidy. Only on the fact that they've probably been the two of the most consistent all season.
Indeed, Oliver Rowland or Nick Cassidy. Yeah, I think this is Nick Cassidy's to lose. I must admit at this precise moment. I don't know what you think, Pico.
Yeah, I think this is very much Cass's to fumble. I don't think he will. I think this is very much Cass's one to lose. But I'm just hoping that A, it goes down to London to start with, and B, it goes down to Sunday, and because Jake went on Saturday last year.
Yes,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And the only time it hasn't come down to final weekend, so say, was
season 6.
Was Berlin in season 6, even though it was the final venue because of COVID. Da Costa won the Sunday, and there was races on the Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the year that Antonio won the championship? Season 6.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think also, I think
in 9 days.
I think as well. Last year's Nick lost that because of the team, and I think Nick's got more to prove than anybody else.
Yeah, I think so. Because in a parallel universe, we could have been looking at back-to-back championships for Nick.
Exactly, 100%. I totally agree. I say that a lot, and I truly believe that he could have been a double champion, definitely, 100%.
And you think him moving to Jaguar was like a statement of intent, right? He was like, and for him, oh my God, like with Envision struggling as much as Envision has struggled, you know.
Yeah,
it makes sense now, because imagine if he was stuck in that Envision and not going places, he would have been even more frustrated.
Throw a question back to you and Jack.
Of course you can.
Right? Do you think that Cass was holding that team together last year, and they're struggling because he moved to Jaguar, or do you think they're just generally struggling?
I think they're generally struggling. I don't know what you think.
I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I do think in the Envision, Cass would be sort of where Gunter is in the championship at the moment. I think, yeah, but I do think that Envision team isn't as strong as it was 12 months ago. But there is a lot of the fact that Cass was outperforming that car last year. And yeah, one of the first things I asked Cass this season in the Valencia test was, what's the difference? Because technically, he's gone from a Jaguar-powered Formula E car to a Jaguar-powered Formula E car. Software, chassis, everything is the same with Envision and Jaguar. And the first thing I asked, what's the difference? Because there is a difference, because it is
a bigger team.
Yeah, it is a proper, fully fledged works outfit compared to the customer outfit of Envision.
Yeah, he said there was a lot more to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, then one more question for you as well. Do you think Oliver came back with the intent to be where he is now, or do you think that's just luck, or do you think he's got himself well again and wanting to win the championship?
I think he's got himself well again.
Rowland, yeah?
Yeah, Rowland.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, and Jack can vouch for me, because I don't think I've been the biggest Oliver Rowland fan in the last few years. But this year, honestly, from what I've seen, I interviewed him just before Sao Paulo, and he just looked so much happier than he did in those couple years with Mahindra. And so I think it was a lot of pressure sort of lifted off his shoulders, returning home to Nissan as well. And you can read about it in our magazine as well. Cheeky.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. I'll be taking that 20 quid, Jack.
No worries.
Honestly, I just felt that he was a changed man this year compared to what he was the last couple of years at Mahindra.
I mean, because I watched the added lap that CB did. You know, the added lap that was on YouTube.
I watched the first 5 minutes and then had to go away.
I just thought just how more relaxed he looked than he has over the last couple of seasons, Oliver.
Yep. I think so too. He wanted to win, right? So when I spoke to Fred, right, and I interviewed Fred in pre-season, and he said, like, Oliver wanted to win now, right? And that's why he left. And he said maybe you need to get like views on him. But basically, he kind of realized Oliver knew that this team was not winning races anytime soon. And he was like, I ain't sitting here for 3 years, because that's basically the project that Fred's on, which he's kind of explained. That I'm not going to sit here for 3 years and wait for you to be ready to win. I'm going to go and find a team that I can go and win with now. And that's kind of why Roland left. Right,
right,
and that decision has been proven right. Where he's there and he's now winning, so he's happy. Yes, he'd love to fight for a championship, but I think he's just happy that he's winning races, and maybe the championship. I'm not saying it's not a big deal to him, but the championship is like a bonus. At this precise moment, he's not seeing the championship as something that he should be out to win. Maybe in a season or two, maybe. But at this precise, I don't think he went into this season thinking we're going to win the championship. So that's why everyone's a bonus, and the fact that he's there is a bonus. He didn't go into this season thinking I'm going to win the championship.
No.
So and add that extra pressure, which Mitch Evans, Nick Cassidy, Pascal Wehrlein, Antonio Frederic Costa, all of them went into the season thinking I can win this championship. And maybe even Sebastian Buemi and Robin Freins. And, you know, I was watching Sebastian Buemi on the weekend and I'm thinking there's still a driver in there. I don't know what's going on in Formula E, but there's still a driver in there.
Yeah, because look to me in Le Mans at the weekend, he was pretty good, you know. Different. I know it's a different motorsport, but, you know.
But, you know, he's been good in Formula E and he's been good in WEC for years. So it's like there's obviously something happening there with Sebastian.
It's always, you can always look at it on the surface, but there's always something underneath that we don't necessarily know about, isn't there?
Yeah, indeed. So
in these situations,
whatever the reason for Envision not being as strong this season is interesting, and maybe something to go find out for when what we'll do is when we get to London and
maybe Jack,
Felipe. Go on.
Maybe because Natalie's not here tonight. Maybe that's a question we should ask Natalie, as she's an Envision super fan, and see what her opinion was.
We will indeed.
Can you text her? Can you text her? We'll get you back on in 15.
Unfortunately, she's at work till 10 o'clock. Unfortunately,
she stayed late. Unfortunately, but hopefully she can listen back and enjoy the show, as I assume many people were, because there was quite a few people who couldn't make it live, unfortunately.
Maybe that's a question we could you or Jack could ask her at the end after Portland, and maybe get it from her point of view as a fan.
We'll get that. Knowing our luck, they've just won 2 races, and so it'll be interesting. But definitely be interesting to get Sylvain Philippe's take in London on Envision season and where it went wrong, and obviously there's talk at the moment about Stoffel Van Dorn going to Envision for next season, which maybe we can talk a little bit with Nick at 9, because Nick at 9 will be here in a couple of minutes. He's gonna. Generally happening, but it's not going to be a long Nick at 9.
I was about.
You always say that, Jack. It normally ends normally about 15, 20 minutes.
Nick wanted to come on. And he's desperate to come on, and it's the FE Bart. So
yeah,
I like Nick. He's sound. All of you are.
But I've been trying to text him to say, can you come on like a couple of minutes early? But
right. I've got to go. So
that's perfect. Thank you so much for coming on and talking.
All right. Speak to you later.
I don't know if anybody else wants to come on. What's going on there, Pico? Should we take a break?
Can do. Have you texted Ed to see if anyone else wants to come up?
I think they're all just chilling. According to Ed, they're just chilling. And
Alright,
I'm
fair
not gonna
enough.
bring in anyone for
Let's
the sake of bringing
see.
one in. So what we're gonna do?
Yeah,
We're gonna take a
take a
5-minute
break.
break, and then we'll finish off with Nick at 9, who's just gonna talk us through some of the latest news and a little bit of Portland preview for about 5 minutes, and 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll call it a night. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes. Hello, everyone. We're back, and Nick's not here yet.
Yeah.
So we're in conversations with Nick, and we're like, Nick at 9, and he's like, I'm coming. He's like, just give me 2 minutes. I'm on my way.
So,
we're here to talk to you.
Yeah.
About we don't know what yet. We haven't even discussed it.
I've had a haircut, and at the start of the show, that was picked up by a few people.
But why I don't get it why it's not Pride enough.
No, it's not Pride enough. So I decided that I'd bring in my my bi flag. So it's the wrong way round. That's a good start. Here we go. There we go. Oh yeah. Woo! Pride.
Lovely job. So
right there we go.
I'm confused.
That's gay stuff out the
right.
way.
No, let's carry on with it. Let's carry on. I got a question actually, which is interesting, and maybe you can help answer it. So Pride Month is this month, right? June.
Yes.
Right. However, Brighton Pride is in August. Like their parade is in August. Why?
No, it's weird. Like Birmingham's was a couple of weeks in May. There was like a midway through May or something like that. Yeah, it's just like gender. It's very fluid. I'm very proud of that one. Yeah, no, they do it in August. I think it's just because it's a little bit more out the way, which is a bit easier. But also they've got to get like all the headline acts and stuff like that, and it's like a proper thing. It's huge.
No, I've been invited to go to the Brighton one. I've never.
Oh my God!
I've never
really?
ever been to one. Well, I have a colleague at work who
who's a queer.
Well, I don't want to say that.
No.
But like who I don't know what the right word is, so I'm not even going to say anything at this precise moment. But like
LGBTQ+.
Yeah, and.
Leave it that.
We wanted to go. Day wanted us to go as our friend group. So she's like, just come. And I was like, it was in August, and I was like, I don't even know what I'll be doing, but I might go. But then the people were. Then I was like, do we stay? Because it's obviously there's like parties in the evening and so forth, and I don't mind the parties and stuff. But I was like, but
it will be funny to
the hotel prices are. I'm not sticking around. I'm getting a train. We're going to get a train back because the hotel prices are unreal. As long as I get a day by the beach and I get to eat some donuts by the pier, I'll be happy. But I just thought, as you asked, as you asked.
I've got cousins in Brighton, and even then I'm not sure. Like, the thing is, I'm not planning to do it this year. I'd like to do it in future years. Me and a co-worker, I invited her to Oxford Pride this year, and she loved it. So, and she was a Pride virgin until a few weeks before Oxford Pride. So yeah.
I've never been one too. So it would be. I know there's some in London, but I've never been. Yeah. Which is probably bad of me. Probably should have gone.
I mean, I don't want. I mean, for me, my first one I went to, I was still in the closet. So, yeah.
Fair enough. But is what it is. Formula E then, was we still wait for the main man himself, because
it's still 0-0 in
still 0-0 in the football.
Portugal, Czechia.
Who?
They've just restarted.
They just restarted.
Oh my word! It's chucking it down.
It's been chucking it down in Germany all day, pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're in Berlin or where they are, but the weather in Germany has not been good. Thank God we missed that for the Formula E. But what I was going to ask you in terms of Formula E,
Leipzig. It's in Leipzig.
Okay. Who do you think is going to win this championship? Do you think this is Cassidy's to lose?
Cass.
Yeah, he's just so good, isn't he?
I responded that in a very Nick Cassidy way. One word answer. Don't elaborate,
mate. When he wins the championship and you get you're interviewing him in London and you're like, "Congratulations, mate! You've won the championship. Missed out last year. You've done it this year." Yeah, mate. Great. Loved it. Really good race. Overtook Jake in the first corner. Yeah. Won the race.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Yeah.
And happy days. And you're like, mate, come on. I love him though.
I really struggled with Nick last season, and it got to a point in Rome where I cracked. I physically just became a mess in front of him, and I was stuttering. I was like, no idea what I was asking him and stuff like that. I was like, got to drag this interview out.
My boss is asking me for 2 minutes, and you're giving me 25 seconds.
And actually, I think that's the point where he saw the real me. Like the mask sort of dropped, and he was like, "Oh no!" And so it was really lovely to be in London and in Valencia after that.
It's just
and actually, if you go onto the Formula E Zone YouTube channel, where you can see all the interviews from the races that we do. If you watch the London one with Nick Cassidy on the Sunday,
season
after
10,
after they win the constructors.
Okay.
So
I was there.
There is a little bit at the end where he comes up to me and goes, "Oh, keep on doing what you're doing, mate. You're doing an amazing job, smashing it. We love to see you here," and everything like that. And I just after that I melted. That was me done.
There you go. Right, I've had some bad news from Mr. Nick Golding.
Oh God!
It looks like he's unable to make it. And I said, "Don't worry, he's trying his hard." So, our lovely, yeah, I know. I love our lovely Nick. Our lovely Nick. He had football training today, but he was coaching, and something has come up. Coaching was supposed to finish at 8:30. He said, "Yeah, I'll be fine. Don't worry, 8:30. I'll be back by 9." So I texted him about whenever you're ready, mate. Come on. He's like, "Okay, I might be in a few minutes." And then I text him, "Well, might still be a few minutes. Give me a couple of minutes." And then he's like, "Mate, I ain't gonna make it. A situation has come up, and I'm dealing with it." And I'm like, "Okay, dude, don't panic. Don't panic. It's all right. We'll catch you in the Portland show, which is now." We've done well. We've managed to squeeze in 2 FE bars before Portland, so we did quite well. So the next show will be reacting to the Portland E-Prix on, is that the 1st of July? The 1st of July.
I'll be watching from a sun lounger in Turkey.
So in a fortnight, yep. I hope you will be. And I have to select a new co-host for.
If the Wi-Fi's good. If the
Wi-Fi's good, fingers crossed. And that's why you go to Turkey, fix the teeth at the same time. It's smart.
Oh yeah, no.
Any hairline issues? Any hairline issues?
Well, Aisha's just asked in chat if I've had a new haircut. I have. It's looking very nice. I've also had a tooth cut. I'll explain that to you later. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, no. If the Wi-Fi's good, I'll watch the FE bar from a sun
What will
lounger
the time be in Turkey? Because it'll be late.
It will be 2 hours later, so it'll be 10 p.m.
10 o'clock. Oh, great.
I
great
might
night.
be allowed. Might be allowed to go outside at that time of night. It might be cool enough.
Might be cool enough indeed. Right, we're going to stop waffling because we've been waffling for a while just to try and get Nick in.
Yeah.
But it's been an amazing show.
If you haven't voted, remember to vote. You've got 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yep. Register in the UK.
Register if you're UK. Have you seen this after tonight?
Tough.
You've missed your chat.
You missed it.
Register to vote, everyone.
And
get them people out.
Yeah, but I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for coming on the show. It means the world. Like, you guys make the show. I pitch these ideas to the teams and say, look, the fans are going to ask questions. I'm not answering many questions. The fans will answer them. And they go, great, we want to hear from the fans. So you guys coming on, it makes the show. Right? It makes the show. So thank you so much for watching. We have been the FE Bar. We'll be back in just under 2 weeks' time on the 1st of July reacting to the doubleheader in Portland. We cannot wait to see you then. Good night.